So, SMK, what is your favorite Pokemon? Well, to be honest with you guys, most of you probably know what it is. Well, at least one of them. Because if you've watched my content before on Twitch or YouTube, you probably have a good idea of at least one of my favorite Pokemon is. But hi, if you're new to my channel, welcome. But no, seriously, one of my favorite Pokemon, like right off the bat, is obviously Cyndaquil, because you watched the intro of this video and there's a Cyndaquil wearing a Master Chief helmet and has an energy sword. We'll talk more about that later, but today I wanted to do a more in-depth analysis of my top 5 favorite Pokemon in all of Pokemon. And obviously, as the years go by, there's gonna be more Pokemon, but I would consider this like a 2018 top 5 favorite Pokemon list, because obviously, you know, we're not gonna see a new Pokemon game that's brand new with brand new Pokemon for at least a little while, so might as well talk about my top 5 favorite before they, I don't know, add new Pokemon. So of course, if you enjoyed today's video, consider dropping a like down below and subscribing to the channel for more top 5 with SMK. If you don't know, top 5 with SMK is just a video series where I talk about just anything I personally like, whether it be something video game related, Pokemon related, anime related, anything I personally have just a huge passion for and a huge interest in. I just make these types of videos and we talk about stuff. So without further ado, let's get into SMK's top 5 Pokemon. That'll probably change in like 2 years or something, but you know, let's just make the video. Enjoy. Number 5, Rowlett. So Rowlett takes the number 5 spot, mainly because he's one of the, the newer Pokemon on my list of top 5 things, because obviously Sun and Moon is still pretty new in the grand scheme of things. Generation 7 is pretty new in the grand scheme of things, because it only just came out in 2016. But you guys already know that, Rowlett was used in every playthrough I've done with Pokemon Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon. You already know. But of course, what makes Rowlett special to me? Well, at first glance, looking at Rowlett, he's just this small, round little owl. What is there not to like? Rowlett is just cute, period, in my opinion. And of course, since I'm a shiny hunter, I enjoy shiny forms of Pokemon. And in Rowlett's case, he primarily turns into like this minty green color, and then his little leaf bow tie in the middle of his body turns into a shade of blue. And I find it pretty cute and adorable because he's got like this minty green color with a blue little bow tie, leaf styled. You know what I'm saying? It just looks really cute. And of course, before you guys yell at me in the comments section, I really haven't watched a ton of the anime for Pokemon Sun and Moon. But when I do randomly see like clips and highlights of Rowlett from the actual Sun and Moon series, he's just literally the cutest thing ever. And here are some examples right here for you guys. And these are the examples and things I've seen that I'm like, wow, like, dude, I know you're already gonna be yelling at me like, why don't you watch the Sun and Moon anime? But regardless, from what I have seen, Rowlett is super adorable and just stupidly cute. Anytime that I've ever seen little clips of him from the actual series. Overall, Rowlett is my favorite new starter from Generation 7. In Generation 7, still pretty new in the grand scheme of things, but once he evolves all the way into Decidueye, it gets even better. So number 5 goes to the grass-flying Pokemon, Rowlett. Number 4, Charmander. I know what you're already thinking, and actually no, I'm not going to assume what you're thinking because that would be stupid. But yeah, Charmander is one of the first Pokemon I fell in love with when it came to Pokemon first becoming a thing way back when I was a little kid. I remember vividly watching the episode of Charmander holding onto that big leaf when it was pouring rain because his trainer abandoned him, and it's pouring rain. And fun fact, if you don't know, if the flame on Charmander's tail burns out, Charmander dies. And that's really deep for a kid's show, especially since I was a kid at the time when I was watching Pokemon, and just looking back at things and even watching the episode now, it's just crazy that was in a kid's show. But it really just brings it full circle that Charmander was doing anything he could to survive during that episode, and also he just wanted to be loved and cared for. And then Ash takes him in, and by the end of the episode, Charmander's a happy-go-lucky Pokemon. You know what I'm saying? Plus, fire Pokemon are awesome, and seeing a little Charmander use any kind of fire move is pretty awesome to watch. I mean, there's so much power in the fire. Charmander has always been my go-to Pokemon when it came to playing the original Pokemon Red and Blue or Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. Pretty much anytime you play through a typical Pokemon game through the Kanto region, I always pick Charmander. He just always is my go-to Pokemon. And it's funny because if you play the original Pokemon Red and Blue and when you play these games, you know, Brock and Misty, they just destroy Charmander. So it was kind of funny that I would pick a Pokemon that would have a difficult time beating the first two gyms. You know, it's a little silly, but I just love Charmander so much. I would just find a way to make it work, and obviously I did. But it's just kind of funny that one of my favorite Pokemon to pick for those games is like, bruh, like you're gonna have such a really hard time beating them because of the fact if you're using a Charmander. And yeah, so my favorite thing about picking Charmander happened again when X and Y came out not too many years ago, and you got to pick a Kanto starter throughout your playthrough. So you had like 2 starter Pokemon, a Gen 6 starter and a Gen 1 starter, and obviously picking Charmander again was just the coolest thing. And then of course later on you get a Mega Stone and you can Mega Evolve Charizard, obviously once you evolve Charmander all the way up, and you can get Charizard X or Charizard Y. And it made me just really appreciate just having Charmander as one of my longtime favorite Pokemon, because of the fact of at the end of the game, I got to do amazing things with my starter Pokemon that evolved into this amazingly awesome Charizard. Like, I just freaking loved it. But there's just so many fond memories of Charmander when I was a kid, and obviously as I've grown up and just became even more indulged with the Pokemon franchise. But overall, Charmander has always just been that go-to starter Pokemon for the Kanto region, and just a long-time favorite of mine. And that's why number 4 goes to the Fire-type Pokemon, Charmander. Number 3, Jolteon. Since I've been a long-time Pokemon fan, once I learned about Eevee and how it evolved via the stones into many different Pokemon, it was literally the best thing ever, because Jolteon is my first favorite of the evolution family. Jolteon is also the reason why my favorite typing of Pokemon was the electric typing, mainly because Jolteon itself has crazy speed and also has a high special stat when it came to being an electric type Pokemon in the first generation of Pokemon. No, Jolteon was not the fastest Pokemon in Generation 1, but overall, the combination of his special stat and his speed made Jolteon pretty much a solid team member to always have when it came to my playthroughs of Pokemon Red, and pretty much any time I played through Pokemon Stadium 1. So besides just using Jolteon in my many playthroughs of Pokemon Red or Pokemon Fire Red, or just overall in general, one of the things I loved about Jolteon was I don't care when it came to like Smogon tiers or whatever, I would always find a way to just use Jolteon on my team. I would just put him on my team and I would use him because I just wanted him to be on my team, mainly because of the fact of you can use either Life Orb or Choice Specs for like the held item, and like his move set would be either Thunderbolt or Thunder, Volt Switch, Shadow Ball, and Hidden Power Ice. If you had Hidden Power Ice and you used that thing on like a Garchomp, for example, it was fantastic. Like it made Jolteon super worth having on the team. And I don't know, I'm super biased towards Jolteon, so whenever I found a way to just put Jolteon on a competitive team, it just made me happy, and I loved using him anytime I could, just battle any of you guys when I used to battle hardcore on my Twitch channel, because that was one of the biggest things I did for many, 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 many months when I first started streaming Pokemon over on Twitch, and it was a lot of great memories because of just having Jolteon on my teams for, I couldn't tell you how many battles I did. So if you guys have been following my channel for, I would say, roughly about the past like 8 months or so, there's 2 videos that have gone up on my channel that have talked about Shiny Jolteon. It's either the Shiny Jolteon Living Dex video, or it's the most recent Shiny Montage video. Both videos talk about Shiny Jolteon and also why it means like a lot to me. Of course, I don't like to talk about this anymore. It's a very, very touchy subject to me, and for some people, they may think it's really stupid, and that's fine. Like, everyone's allowed to have their own opinions on things, but, for me, I've been a very avid Pokemon fan, and, I've related a lot to Pokemon, or have taken things from my life and have incorporated it to mean more to me, and Jolteon, pretty much without going super into detail, reminds me a lot of my dog Angel that had passed away last year. So if you want more info And see, like I told you guys, like just talking about it, it really messes me up. But if you want to watch more about it and get a better understanding of why Jolteon just means a lot to me, definitely check out those videos. They'll be in the description, or there'll be a clickable annotation at the end of this video, so you could check it out. I just don't want to put them in this video because it'd make it so damn long. But overall, Jolteon is one of the first evolutions that made me happy to have on my Pokemon team anytime I played through a Pokemon game. And it was also the Pokemon that made me love electric type Pokemon. And of course, Jolteon also reminds me a lot of my dog Angel. I don't have anymore, but again, if you want to learn more about that with why Jolteon is similar to my dog Angel, I would check out that video in the description. Number 2, Umbreon. So I can promise you right off the bat that Umbreon will not be an emotional roller coaster like Jolteon was. It's just Jolteon is just, as recent events in my life in the past year have made it a very emotional thing when it came to just talking about Jolteon. But for Umbreon, it's a way different case because he's been a long-time favorite ever since the release of Generation 2 with Pokemon Gold and Silver and Crystal. I found it awesome that you had to raise a Pokemon's friendship up and make it level up with that high friendship during the nighttime to even get Umbreon in the first place. So you had to get an Eevee, make its friendship high enough, and like level it up, which took many, many levels, unless you bred a brand new Eevee or like a Ditto or something early on in the game to even get an Umbreon in the first place. I've always loved Umbreon's design with its primary black color and the yellow markings all over Umbreon's body. It makes it stick out to me like instantly. And to top it off with its eyes having red and black in them, like what? It's just a menace in the dark, and it's just and it's super unique to me that the yellow markings glow at nighttime and or when Umbreon's making an attack. Like it just makes it really come full circle to see Umbreon just have this very fierce look, and then it gets even more intensified when it's the nighttime. Since I'm a very nocturnal person, I relate to Umbreon a lot, since Umbreon looks powerful and fierce in the nighttime, like I just previously said, because for me, I always worked the best and had the most amount of energy to do a lot of things when it is the nighttime. So also seeing the Umbreon as a dark type Pokemon and it looks powerful in the night, it's just really cool to me, and I relate to it a lot because I just see a lot of myself in Umbreon. So it's just a really cool, relatable thing, pretty much. It's the best way I can explain it to you guys, and that's one of the reasons why I just love Umbreon so much. Like I literally feel like Umbreon is me if I was a Pokemon, pretty much. Well, at least one of the Pokemon I really relate to. Umbreon is also what got me to switch my favorite typing of Pokemon from electric to the dark typing, because ever since Generation 2, it changed everything. Trust me, I still love electric type Pokemon, but I don't know, man. Umbreon like totally destroyed my love for electric type Pokemon being the #1. Like just dark type Pokemon overall, I just love a ton, and I just want them to make as many more dark type Pokemon in the future, because Umbreon, in my opinion, is the leader of that pack for me, and is the main reason why I love dark type Pokemon so very much. Overall, Umbreon was a surprise to me when it came out in Generation 2. I have some Twitch emotes based around Umbreon, so if you ever come to a live stream and you're an actual sub on Twitch, or if you're just in a live stream, you may see my subscribers on Twitch using my emotes that are based around Umbreon. I even love Umbreon so much because of its shiny form, because it makes Umbreon's design look even more amazing. That not only do I love having shiny Umbreon in a Pokemon game, but I also went out of the way and found an actual place that sold an Umbreon hat. But not only was it an Umbreon hat, it's a shiny variation of Umbreon for a hat. And of course, you guys have probably seen this many times before if you followed me over the years, either on Twitch or in a bunch of shiny Pokemon reaction videos. But you know, that's some top tier level of loving a Pokemon so much that I went out of my way to find a hat, and it was the shiny variation just because I love Umbreon so much. So that is why number 2 goes to the dark type Pokemon, Umbreon. And finally, number 1 is Cyndaquil. And I know what you're thinking. SMK, you already said that Cyndaquil is one of your favorites, and he's in the intro of all of your videos, practically most of them. Gosh. This is really stupid. Well, now I get to explain to you guys why Cyndaquil is one of my favorite starter Pokemon. By just looking at Cyndaquil in the original Generation 2 games, he looks awesome with the fire in his bag, and how cute Cyndaquil is without the fire in his bag. It's just a perfect combo of being calm and collective, and then bam, all of a sudden you're bringing the heat, baby. Cyndaquil's design has always been interesting to me because with the flame on its back, he can put away, unlike Charmander with its fire on its tail where it always has to be there. Cyndaquil can put away the fire in its back and nothing bad's ever going to happen. Seeing that Cyndaquil never really opens its eyes, and that Cyndaquil's nature is timid, and that he will hide when he gets intimidated too much, reminds me a lot of myself when I was younger. Cyndaquil has always been my go-to starter for any of the Pokemon games from Generation 2, and it got even better when I got a shiny Cyndaquil in Pokemon Soul Silver, because if you don't know, when you have a shiny Pokemon in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, they stay shiny when they run around in the game behind you. It is literally the best thing ever when it comes to being a shiny hunter in those games, 100%. Hashtag bring back Pokemon following behind you. I love Cyndaquil so much that it's pretty much my mascot Pokemon of choice, and I have so many emotes on my Twitch channel, and I've even sold merchandise related to Cyndaquil being in the form of the Halo Quill. Now, if you don't know what the Halo Quill is, it's pretty much a mixing of my favorite Pokemon, obviously, it's Cyndaquil, with one of my all-time favorite first-person shooter games being Halo. Giving Cyndaquil a Spartan helmet and giving him an energy sword makes Cyndaquil even more of a badass, so it's pretty much like having the Master Chief and Cyndaquil being best friends. So it's like I have my very own Spartan 117 Cyndaquil. Yeah, that's why I love Cyndaquil, and I made it my own thing, and I love it a lot. Overall, Cyndaquil is my favorite fire type Pokemon. Obviously, Charmander was the go-to in the original generation, but ever since Generation 2 has been a thing, and moving forward, Cyndaquil is my favorite fire type Pokemon. And the coolest thing about Cyndaquil is throughout its entire evolutionary line, it keeps its fire typing. That's pretty freaking sick. And I mean, hey, it turns in Typhlosion, and Typhlosion is an awesome freaking Pokemon. So I mean, it's like a win-win, because like I love Charmander, and then he turns into Charizard, and then Cyndaquil is into Typhlosion, and like, you know, it's like literally like they're fantastic Pokemon, but Cyndaquil holds it down, is the #1 freaking Pokemon of all time for me, because I have way too many goddamn plushies and way too many Pokemon cards and way too many games that have Cyndaquil as the starter Pokemon, and everything you could think of about Cyndaquil I'm obsessed with. Like, it's pretty apparent. So that is my top 5 favorite Pokemon list for practically 2018. Because who knows, maybe it'll change when a new Pokemon game comes out, and maybe I'll add new Pokemon to this particular list of the overall favorites of mine. But it's kind of hard to do that because this top 5 is pretty solid. So, what do you have, Game Freak? What new, crazy, amazing, awesome, cute Pokemon are you gonna bring to me, huh? What do you have, Game Freak? Your move. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Did you relate to my list at all? Are any of these Pokemon your favorites as well? Let me know down below in the comment section. And of course, if you guys enjoyed this top 5 with SMK, considering liking the video and subscribing to the channel so you can see more top 5s with SMK in the future. Thank you again, guys, for watching today's episode of Top 5 with SMK. I'm your host, SMK. You can always just call me Steven. I'll see you guys either in a live stream on Twitch sometime soon, or I'll just see you guys in the next video. And as you can clearly tell, I like a lot of Pokemon, and I like a lot of Halo. So, if you didn't get the drift about the Halo Quill, now you know. See you later.